Every time that we gather here to celebrate the Eucharist, we first ask God to forgive us so that we may be worthy to worship Him. And then we pause to listen to God speak to us a message to us today. And Jesus speaks to us from the Gospel. We've heard about the prophet Amos and what he is saying to his people. What is the people and what are we like? Are we like those people? Are we complacent like them? And then in our Gospel, Jesus speaks to us, the great storyteller, with a message. And what is that message to us today? Amos the prophet is very much aware of what is happening among the people of his nation. Many are not faithful to living the covenant, and many of them are very rich and content. They are complacent, which simply means that they are subsumed with themselves. They are comfortable and not worried about anybody else. In our story from Amos talking to his people, so there are too many who are very rich, who are lying on couches made of ivory. Normally when they would eat, they would lie down on a couch and reach to a table next to them to eat. And then he says that they are eating lambs and calves, tender meat. In those days throughout the whole country, meat was very seldom used to eat. They respected the animals. Many of them gave them clothing, wool, etc., or milk, or they were a work animal. Very seldom did they eat the flesh of animals, only on rare festival occasions. These rich people are eating every day that tender meat. They also have music. Certainly the man's servants are playing the music during their meals. And because of their couches and the way that they are reclined and eating, they can be there a long time. And as for wine, Amos mentions they're not just drinking it out of a cup, they're gorging themselves with it out of bowls. They're drinking a lot. In seeing the signs of his time, he warns them there will come a time soon when another country will overcome us, and especially you rich ones will be the first to be taken away. You will be in exile, and you will lose everything. Well, we have to ask ourselves, how comfortable are we today? There may be a few of us, but not many, who may be worried about how we will have enough food to eat today. Most of us will eat 2 or 3 meals today, and we're not worried about the fact that we're going to be able to do so. There are others that do not have that luxury. Some are homeless, some are hungry, some are in great need. Jesus drives home the point in the gospel as well today. He tells us about a rich man and a poor man. And the rich man is dressed in the finest of purple outer garments. The Canaanites were renowned for their dyeing things with purple. They had a special dye that they had, and they dyed fancy garments with that dye. The man is wearing that kind of a garment outside His underclothes are linen. He has plenty to eat. He lives in a big house, apparently. It has a fence and it has a gate. And this poor man, Lazarus, is lying outside the gate. Jesus names this man in his parable, in his story, calls him Lazarus, a name which means God will help. The poor man apparently knows Lazarus' name, but pays no attention to him, gives him nothing. Lazarus, covered with sores, dirty, hungry, lies outside his gate. The rich man does nothing for him. Even the dogs come to lick his sores. They both die. The rich man goes to Hades. Lazarus goes to heaven. The rich man, knows Lazarus' name. He calls out to God, "Send Lazarus to help me." And he is told simply by Abraham, God's representative, no. The rich man is only concerned about his own immediate family, his boys. But he is simply told by Abraham, they have enough. They have Moses. They have the prophets. They have the covenant. That's enough. In our own time, how do we do our things? How do we act? Are we like the rich man? Or are we blind to those around us who are needy and need our assistance? And relationships are more important than anything. A long time ago, when I was pastor here, and our rectory was on Merritt Drive, just a short distance from Flamingo Restaurant, there was also a Hardee's that was nearby. And I would often drive home from here after work late at night, many times after 10:30. As I passed by on several occasions, I noticed a woman, probably in her early to mid-40s, after 10:30 at night, diving into the dumpster behind Hardee's to find food, scraps that had been left for her and her children. After I'd seen this several times, I went to the new manager who had just come here. He was also a Catholic, and a member here of St. Matthew's. And I said, "I don't know if you know what's happening," and told him about her. From then on, at closing time, because they had to get rid of whatever was left, he would take 2 trays, fill them with the good food, cover them with saran wrap, and place them on top of the dumpster. Shortly after he would return inside, the woman came, grateful, and took the food. He reached out and did something to help. It's more important not just to give somebody something, money, some food, etc., but maybe a deeper relationship with a person. Over many years of priesthood, there have been a number of times where I had the opportunity for someone who was really hungry, not just to give them something, but to take them out to eat and eat with them, visit with them, learn their story. While in Hugo, one young couple in their early 30s came by the rectory. They needed help. They wanted to work to do it. And they worked for a little while, and I knew I had to go to the mission at Antlers after that. So I went down and asked them, "Are you really hungry?" They said, "Oh, yes." We've not eaten in 3 days. So we went to the restaurant in Hugo to eat. They served a plate that's kind of like they would serve to farmers, a really decent, good meal at lunch. They demolished that plate real easy. I said, "Are you still hungry?" They smiled and said, "We hate to say so, but yes. So then give us another." And then they said, we need to get ourselves to Oklahoma City. How do we do that? I said, "I will take you as far as Antlers, my mission, and there's a place there where you can usually catch a ride to Oklahoma City. And if when I finish with the meeting in the parish church with our people, if you're still there, I'll take you." When I came back out, they were gone. 2 weeks later, they sent a note. "Thank you so much for the conversation, the food, and your help." Relationships are very important. Our God reminds us that He has created each and every one of us in His image and likeness. And when He sees us, He sees that image. And He asks us to begin to look at each other like God looks at people, and to seek Christ in others, no matter who they are. We have Moses, we have the prophets, we have Jesus, and the people of God, the church, all of you. We have one simple commandment from the Lord, and if we do that one, we will develop the proper relationships between each other and with our God. Jesus simply asked, "Love one another as I have loved you."